We done ain't supposed to be dancing. Look how we gon' get in trouble now. Everybody cooping, how close we grinding down. It's best we go in a corner, but they got my code neighbors there. You say you don't give a damn if everybody's there, but I have no interest to impress, cause I could care less if we dancing fearless. So let them post me on a Facebook story, more glory to see we dancing sneaky freaky. Sneaky link and wine, sneaky link and grind, sneaky link and wine. You never know who recording, so you must wine with your head down. Careful how you're choking, cause people are done stories are wrong. All when you squeeze me just now, I swear I just see yourself on like this looking like a problem. Oh, what a novella tonight. But I have no interest to impress, cause I could care less if we dancing fearless. So let them post me on a Facebook story, more glory to see we dancing sneaky freaky. Sneaky link and wine, sneaky link and wine, sneaky link and wine. Sneaky walk up.
Today, we do an interview. On Mondays, I usually try to, we trying to bring in different personalities, specifically media personalities, that, keep a pulse on things that happen on the lovely island of St. Martin. And of course, today I'm joined by, some call him the philosopher of humor, some call him the king of comedy of St. Martin, some call him, one of the most controversial hosts in St. Martin, the one and only Fernando Clark.
Hey, well, good day, Andrew, and it's good to be here with you.
It's late night, so of course, thank you for coming out so late.
Yeah.
It's past your bedtime.
I hope I could get back in.
So, Fernando, when I come on your show, you always you'd like to ask how the country running. So I think I need to return the favor and ask
How the country running?
How the country running.
Let me answer by asking you which country. Because you gotta be careful if you call it a country, because
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
because our empire is run by an emperor. A kingdom is run by a king.
Yes,
So a country is run by
the Dutch.
yeah.
That's in our case.
Yeah, in our case.
But I mean, a lot of things are happening, and sometimes it's good to bring some clarity to the viewers, specifically, in politics and of course the government, depending on what we call a government. But first thing I want to talk about is this election business. First it was originally we're supposed to have it for January 2024.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, it changed now to maybe they don't want to disturb the Christmas season, so it might be done in November of 2023. And then it's a back and forth with conflicting statements by the Prime Minister, saying that the Council of Ministers decided, but then they didn't decide it. They're going to discuss it, and they might not discuss it. What do you make of all of that?
Well, they decided not to decide, when it would be. But we could expect elections anytime between, I would say, October of this year.
October?
Anytime between October into January. But like they said, they don't want to do it around the Christmas time. So I would say between October, November.
But if you say October, that means the government go fall before then.
No, they'll go to elections, and then, they have, I believe, a certain amount of days before the
Yeah,
new.
there's a registration period for political parties, and then you have the postulation day, and then of course election time.
All of that. So we'll be feeling the effects of, let's say, elections from now.
Well, we are actually.
Yeah, you can start feeling all the campaigning and all the getting ready and the rhetorics and so on. And, you know, this is a time for this government to try to clear up certain things that are a mess up. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, but it's been nearly 4 years, you know, and they always you know, say that they're the longest stand. They are the longest government that we've had since 10-10-10.
And they are.
Yeah, they are. So, you think during the last year is when they have to show what they've done?
Well, listen, they ain't got no choice. They don't have a choice, they have to. But to me, they messed up so bad, you know, that they need another 8 years to fix up the damage that they have done. And when I say that, you know, and I'm not government bashing.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is when people expect a lot from you, you know, when they were in opposition, remember how they bashed the Leona Marlin government? And so people expected better from them.
Yeah.
But they came in there and they look like a Leona Marlin tree. You know?
Yeah, I mean, because the different things that could be in this, that is in this array. You know, you have, you know, let's, off the top of my head, the airport.
Yeah. But I want to go even before that. After we came out of the hurricane, remember we got 550 million euros to build back better.
Through the word back.
Yeah, that. Build back what? I haven't seen anything built back better. If you look at Great Bay Hotel, you remember Great Bay Hotel? That was a hotel used to be.
I know a distant memory, but I remember it. Yeah.
Now at least it's a place where guanos could run freely.
Yeah. The closed-off beach that, you know, it's supposed to be public, but anyway, okay.
Yeah, well, it's a public close-off beach.
Yes.
Close-off public beach, whatever. Okay, so we had that issue. Then we have where we say we're going to build back better. Infrastructure is worse than it was before the hurricane. The schools, they were going to build back the schools.
Yeah. And I think they was going to add 2 more schools.
Yeah, well, they took away 2, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Then they were going to build houses, you know, and I hear a figure of about 1,400 houses. I think they must be counting Sabre Station, Bonaire.
Yeah, I think the up also had a promise of 1,000 homes.
Yeah.
Also
Yeah,
for
1,000
social housing.
Well, but we got to be fair when we talked. They didn't say what kind of homes, you know, whether it's dog houses, pigeon house, you know, dump house,
Plastic
whatever
house,
it is,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
It's just house, and
Yeah.
you know, with the amount of monkeys we had. No, not in government.
I didn't say
The
that.
amount of monkeys. No.
Because we actually are exterminating the monkeys.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And the guanas, they should do
Yeah,
that too.
yeah.
But yeah.
So
we got to look at all these kind of things. We have all this money now and to do all these things. And every time you hear these nice words, we're going to build back the airport. Well, you look at the airport, build back airport. Build a hospital. You know, I mean, I think the way we're moving, we should try to build more graveyards because they're killing people, you know. So all of that. So we have to look at from the beginning and let's look at, are we better off now? And then we could use an excuse about, we had a pandemic, we had what other emic we had?
you know, yeah, you had
The hurricane,
the
and
hurricane,
this,
yeah.
and that, you know. But if we want to talk about all the pandemics we have had, you know, I think government is one of the pandemics too.
We're going through a pandemic right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
but you know, just to go closer on the airport, for example, and the amount of I think it was on your online program.
I could drink while I'm on the air?
Yes, you can drink while you're on the air.
I could drink this alcohol on the air?
It's not
What you promoting?
it's coffee. Drink your coffee,
It's
man.
coffee?
Yes. Make sure it's nice and hot.
From Santo Domingo?
No, from Tim Hortons. Now, at the airport is a situation that I think on your online program on Tuesday, I think MP Emmanuel was the one who actually broke the news of the different reports that came from the same company that has been hired from the company before, and then they just hire a sub company of their own to make a report that they should have already have. And then, of course, the storm comes down on the Council of Ministers, and then lo and behold, Keith Franca and also Ms. Havington from the holding board, they all resigned from the airport board, and now, we just have a rogue CEO at the airport.
A rogue, you call it?
I call him rogue CEO because he does what he wants, and the government doesn't do anything.
I think he does what he don't want.
That's the thing. Yeah. So the situation at the airport is kind of scary.
Kind of scary? Listen, I think we Seman people have become so immune to, what would I say, disasters.
Yeah.
And when I say disasters, I mean natural disasters,
Yeah.
Man-made or government-made disasters. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
That we tend to think is normal. I mean, listen, Mahorif was destroyed in the hurricane. To Mahorif, build back, That is the hotel there by the bridge,
Royal Palm?
Yeah, build back.
Build back.
We built two
rebranded?
towers. Yeah. We built 2 towers down in Kupakoi there, built up, But only the airport can get fixed.
Yeah.
And the hospital, of course.
Yeah.
But, it's like we have one in every district that can't build back.
Yeah.
But we should be very worried and concerned about what's going on in this country, especially with the airport, because it was a certain amount to build the airport, and it costs more to fix it.
Yeah, and that's why I try to understand, because
nobody could. Then it was better we break it down flat and build it back.
But then who do we hire to build it back? Because you have situations whereby the build some projects take maybe about 6, 7, 8 months. Money is put in, and the contractor work, and in tranches they receive, and then it is finished. But for some reason, when it comes to the airport, there's always something that
always, and they have no solutions to it. I thought, okay, you fire Michael Hyman. I thought, well, okay, now they got everything fixed then. The problems still continue. They bring in Brian Mingo, fire him, bring him back.
Yeah, the court decided to bring him back.
Yeah.
And then you have a project team. And then you have a project team that's in charge of the project, but then at the same time, you have the company, Balas Nedam, that is executing the work. But of course, then they subcontract to different companies to do the work for them at the airport. So then you
see how confusing it is.
You see how confusing, right?
And
then you have a CEO. So who makes the decisions? Apparently nobody.
What decisions? Just wake up and say, what today is Wednesday? Okay, break that down. Then Thursday say, you should not break it down, build it back.
Build it back.
But I think a lot of things were overlooked at the airport, that heads got to roll. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
These things happen, no head is rolling. You had the privilege of getting the
tour.
The tour at the airport.
Yeah, I did.
And somebody said, well, they only show you what they want you to see. I wasn't there.
No, I could tell you my experience. My experience was and I was very frank about it. It was the same damn tour that I received 3 years ago.
With the same damage and all of that.
Same, and it's the only difference was that they had some delicious sandwiches from Carl & Sons that I enjoyed right before the tour started. It was really, really good. Otherwise to that, it was the same exact thing. It's just that you see more workers.
So after 2 or 3 years, you're still seeing the same thing. No improvement has been made.
No improvement. And the excuse that we received was that, we had to redesign and reconfigure, and we had to reinvent, and we have to make it more classy, and we had to make some changes in order to accommodate more. You see these nice words I use?
But this is a government of nice words. They start up all this trajectory and all these kind of new words and thing, and they just keep using these words everywhere. There's a car accident, they say, well, there was a trajectory of accidents.
And don't forget, and one word that the government loves to use is also the study. And then we're going to form a committee to study it. And then after the study, then we're going to present it, and then we're going to make a work group. And after the work group, we're going to then make a lecture series.
And the stakeholders.
The stakeholders.
Don't forget the stakeholders. That's people holding stake.
No, but in all seriousness, I hope, how soon you think you see the airport finishing, Fernando?
I would say if we continue on this pace, with this government, 2027, 2028. Yeah, I honestly, I feel that if we have the same government, that's what we're looking at. But St. Martin has to move forward. It's as if we're going backwards.
Yeah.
You ever drive on the roads and see how the roads are?
Oh.
They haven't been marked in years. They haven't been, and I'm preaching about these things on my program all the time. And, it falls on deaf ears. I don't know. We're not making any progress, and yet you'll hear them talking about, yeah, we did this and we did that. Yeah, we traveled to Holland. We was at the United Nations and we was there. But what is that doing for St. Martin people?
Yeah.
I think we have more potholes now than the whole Caribbean put together. I intend to, you see the same people that's go and watch the planes landing and all of that? Foolishness. Now let's go and watch the potholes.
Yeah.
And then you could focus on one pothole on one day, and then you could see by the next day how it has grown, in length and in depth.
Yeah.
I mean, where are we going? The only good thing I can say right now that it did is to get rid of the monkeys. Not in government.
No.
You got to stop that.
The role of Parliament.
Mm-hmm. I worked in Parliament for some time, so I got familiarized with that hands-on approach.
Uh-huh.
I heard somebody the other day saying about another parliamentarian. This person was saying on a different radio program saying, there's a parliamentarian ain't pass no law. And they make it sound like all parliament do sit down and pass law. Okay? But the role of government is to supervise, the role of parliament is to supervise government. Mm-hmm. Okay? And I think Parliament has, and I'm talking about all 15 of them, and even if you want to include Boncampa.
Yeah, so all 16. Yes.
All 16, well, 16 and a half. Anyhow. Have they been doing a good role in supervising government? On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, I put them at a 4. But also why is because they are supervising government, Government just ain't listening to them.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Government could say, look, do this, do that, and they say, no, we ain't doing it.
Yeah, Parliament, yeah.
Yeah, they tell Parliament blatantly, no, we're not doing it. Parliament passed a motion in June, fix the police, the justice workers, their salaries before the end of December 2022. Well, the end of December 2022 came.
And gone.
Come and gone, till we wait for next end of December, and no explanation to Parliament, no apology, no reasoning of why we didn't make it. And what we get is a tongue lashing.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get to. I mean, I think we've become so immune to just getting the excuses, and we just there like, just like what you just do. It's just like, okay.
So you ain't do it? No.
Yeah, all right.
No, I ain't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, okay.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess we'll wait until you're ready. And some even said, if this was the French side, for example, Fernando, it would have been a different story. You believe that?
You know, if you say French side from 20 years ago, then I would tell you, yeah.
Yeah.
But today, the current French side is almost as docile as us on this side.
Yeah.
You know,
Something happens and they're like, okay, there's a
they-
little uproar
they
for maybe a couple
demonstrate for a
days,
couple hours or days,
hours,
and
and then they move on to the next.
without getting any results, they move on. But you know, this is unacceptable. And with the Dutch having their hands in this, you know, some would say, well, then you shouldn't expect this. But things were moving better when the Dutch didn't have the hand in this thing. You know, after 1995, we built back St. Martin ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, with a little help from the Dutch.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that the Dutch got to decide everything, and BZK and NRPB and all these other abbreviations that they come with now. Everything is abbreviation now, you know.
Yeah.
Nobody got no full name no more.
I think it's called modern supervision. That's what I call it because you know, and I think we look for it also because if we're gonna go to the Dutch and ask for assistance because they're responsible for us, you
Yeah,
really think I'm going to give you money just so? I'm going to give you money, and I'm going to tell you what I expect, how I expect, and add a little condition to it.
Yeah, but
And that's what you call modern supervision, Fernando?
Yeah, but it's not only that they're supervising, they're involved in it.
Yeah.
They're involved in it. The Dutch are involved in the money thing too. They said they were going to build back schools. They build back any? I think Sister Regina School had got a new playground or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But you have right now 2 or 3 schools in St. Dominic School. Because you have the high, the high, the low, and then you have the school from Milleridgeon, Marie Laurent School.
Yeah.
Housing down there too. And now we never had these kind of things. And then 5 years later, you still got that?
And they have 2 classrooms at the Belvedere Community Center. And they were asked to leave earlier this month because the Belvedere Community Center want back their space. So now you'll have 2 of the Martin Luther King School
That's another
students.
problem too.
Yeah, I mean the Martin Luther King School. I mean it was supposed to fix back. You know, and it seems like we complain most of the time, but we're just talking about things that are obvious, and sometimes it just stacks up over and over and over,
Yeah.
and we move on to the next thing without fixing the problem in the first place.
Yeah, we just move on to the next problem.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We became very good at that. And when we look at the hospital,
Oh.
well, before it started, was a confusion already.
Yeah.
You know, and we continuing with this confusion. So you have to ask yourself, you know, when we going to do anything right, when something will, and don't talk about a dump. This is the biggest. I listen, Andrew. I can't explain it. Because when people ask me, I start to stammer. Because.
Yeah.
And then somebody tell me I sound like Louis LaVeille when I go like I you know.
Yeah.
But the point is, you got people, most of those people, if not all, squatting there.
Yeah.
And here you are, you're gonna pay the people to move. I should have gone and lived there too.
I should have gone. I was thinking the same thing.
All now, so I would have been charging them money
And,
to go
but
live
but
someplace
the
else.
conditions of you see, and that this is where the Dutch come in, is that if you want our money to build your dump or rebuild your dump or make it into whatever you want, you can't deport or you can't do anything that is inhumane against people who have been squatting at that location for years.
Inhumane. Living on the dump is inhumane. So, I mean, and then look again. To me, these people putting their hands in running government. The Dutch come in and tell, no, you can't deport. You can't do this, you can't do that. But then it's better you run the government.
And yet we autonomous, you know. And that's why, you
Don't
know.
call it autonomous, it's autonomous.
Autonomous?
Autonomous.
What does that mean?
You say autonomous, I say autonomous.
No, but you know, it's just because we stick out our hands, and because we stick out our hands, they're always gonna have some type of hand, you know.
Yep.
And it's very, very, very obvious. I did thinking on something positive that has
This
happened.
government accomplished.
Yes, for the
The
past.
monkeys. They got rid of the monkeys. You're not seeing monkeys like you used to anymore. Not even iguanas I ain't seen as much as I used to.
That's it.
Well, yeah. That's a huge accomplishment, you know.
They
To
must,
get rid of monkeys?
they must, Fernando, stop. They
No,
must
I'm
have.
dead serious. Okay, let's look at something else that is positive. Positive you say, right?
Yes, that's positive.
No, positive. I think,
We had less positive cases of COVID.
yeah. You know, we could praise Minister Utley for that. You know, he personally went around and took away the COVID from people.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, and we
if
had.
you had to select the best minister right now, who would you say is the best?
The best?
Oh, okay, the least worst.
Oh, the least worst.
Yeah.
Minister Otley, of course.
Minister Utley.
Yes.
I
I call him in my program the minister of everything.
Minister of every
Yes,
thing.
because he does everything.
Well, I think Anna was moving good too. Minister Anna Richardson was moving good too until she didn't pay the
The officers.
justice workers at the. But I mean, she had a pageant for them. She had a singing competition for them. She had, different things,
Yeah, but
things that they never had before.
that's the thing, you know. When the minister started, and the police officers had marched in front of the police station, in front of the government building.
Yeah.
And from the time she spoke the way she spoke to
That was
them,
a slip of the tongue. That was a slip of the tongue.
yeah, but from then on, I was like, ooh, I don't know if this is the best
She
position.
made up for it. She made up for it in other ways.
How?
I know you would have asked that question, you know, man. How is a Chinese? Leave the Chinese
Because
alone.
I was like,
How?
how?
She positive. Let me think of anything.
Because
The
you know,
roads in Soccer Garden paved.
oh, so she's not the minister of Romy.
No,
Stop
no,
it.
she's not the minister of Romy, but the minister of Romy live in that area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the
Okay.
roads and Colby is like forgotten and
Because if you look at this police situation, and I said it on my program before, I said, how is it possible that the function book was finished, and then when it was finished, it had to be sent to the advice council. The advice council then sent it back. Some tweaks had to be made, and then it was sent to the not executive council, the council of ministers. Then the council of ministers then decided on it, and then they had to send it to the general audit chamber, or they had to send it to some other organ. And then afterwards, it was sent back because there was some changes because we hired somebody from Curacao to come and fix it. But then the person from Curacao ain't do it good, so he hired a company in Curacao with the okay from the Ministry of Justice to fix the calculations and everything. And the reason for that is because we was too busy with our own things, so our pension department couldn't handle the calculations, and therefore it was then sent to the governor finally, but it's finished. And then the governor sends it back because he wants to know how much of the money is going to be paid out to the workers of the Justice Ministry. Did I miss
I
anything?
think you sum it up quite well, you know. You only miss the part where they still have to pay those officers who left. And quite a number of them have left.
Yes, over 20, I heard, yeah.
Yeah.
Over 20, I heard. So I said, I don't understand it. And then so if you look at
But they
achievement.
say it was finished, the function book
Yes,
was finished.
it is
Or
finished.
was it completed?
That's the thing.
So it was finished, but it wasn't completed.
It was finished, but it wasn't completed because now it's like it's finished, but now it's but the governor wants to know how much.
Which I think they should have known to provide him those figures automatically. The first thing people want to know is how much.
How much does it cost? Okay,
know?
do we have the budget for
And
it?
then we could look at what it is we paying. But they want to know how much we paying. Then we're going to look at who we paying. You understand? So I don't know why. But
Well, okay, what about the prime minister? Our honorable prime minister has been, at the helm of this country for at least 4 years. Because she was part of the interim government before the elections, and she's still there as the prime minister. You think she's controlling the Council of Ministers
Andrew,
correctly?
I was going to plead the fifth. I was going to use a saying that my grandmother used to tell me: if you can't say nothing good, don't say nothing at all.
Don't say nothing at all.
But I think that
I
you're
thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
But I think as a prime minister, and we got to remember here, right? Here, our prime minister is just another minister. Huh?
Yeah, that's it.
She's not like the head of the ministers and so on,
Yeah.
like in other countries. But as a prime minister, there was a time she was involved in everything. She was involved at the airport, she was involved at the hospital, she was involved in this and that and that. Then when things really, when hit the fan, then she recused herself. That's another new word, huh?
Yeah.
Recused.
She recused herself. Yes.
She recused herself and confused us.
Yeah.
But anyhow. And then, to me, the government was a secretive government. Whenever you ask them a question, we can't divulge that information now.
Yes, we don't discuss personal situations in the public, or it was leaked, and we should stop leaking because we are in, we are in a situation whereby the leaking will only hurt. Oh yes, don't forget that one. So we can't discuss it because of the court case
But
situation
there was
that's
always
happening.
One of the 40 reasons why they could not discuss anything. So you could ask them, how you do? Boy, we can't discuss that now because this and that and, So the public was always left to wonder. And then when with the press briefing, how they handled the press briefing, how they had fixed it,
Let me not even go there.
we have to go there because that's superficial muzzling.
Yeah, in modern muzzling, and it's gone to a point now whereby it is almost only 3 persons end up going to the press briefings, and I'm one of them, and that's it. Out of the whole
Brown
media.
no more?
Yes, Mr. Brown still goes.
Oh, God, we will have to cancel it if you don't show up.
So but other medias they just don't respect. They just don't
I
respect
don't
it.
even look at the press briefing.
Oh, you don't even look at it.
No, I don't look at it. I'll hear it on the news or read it in the papers or what happened, depends on what they report. But because, listen, at the end of the press briefing, I'm no further informed
Than you was before.
than I was before. Sometimes you come out, you're more confused.
Yeah.
And but anyhow, they fix it up,
I don't know if they fix it, but Yeah.
So now we're going back to the prime minister and
Yes.
if I would rate her as a prime minister, and we could use the excuses, it was under trying times, but like Martin Luther King said, that is when you know who's a leader. When it's not when things go how you run or how you lead. It's under trying times is when people could judge you. Are you a good leader or not? And to me, in my opinion, the prime minister has failed. Now
That was a big, you went.
No.
I think you went on for like 10 minutes, and you just built it up.
Yeah.
And then I there thinking, man, something coming, and then you say she has failed.
She has failed, but it might not be only her fault, for lack of a better word.
Okay.
Yeah. But as the Prime Minister, I will judge her based on that too, because as the Prime Minister, I think you could pull up people when they're going wrong, ministers, when they're going wrong, and hey, listen, pull them up. So in that regard, they have failed. What I think about Minister of Finance, finance is a very important, he need more backbone. You know, finance is not an easy ministry to run.
Yeah.
You know, but he has to have more backbone. Like when he wanted to float a bond, and the Dutch tell him no, he should have said, "Well, I floated."
I floated.
If you have a problem, you could float up there. I floating down here.
Yeah.
Minister of Education, I like something that he did though, where he make a priority for scholarships. You know, he said, we're going to decide what we're giving scholarships for, and we're going to look at what does St. Martin need. And I think that should have been done donkey years ago.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you have 78 students going away to study, 75 of them going to study
Business administration.
Business administration.
Yeah.
And you got more business administrators than business. You know?
Yeah.
So people, if they do come back, you know, a business administrator probably pumping gas at a gas station.
Basically, yeah.
Computer analysis, renting cars, and those sort of things. So I give him a head, you know, a salute for that. He did that well. For the rest, I can't judge him good because your schools are not built. The house to educate people in is not built. So.
And what about culture?
And yeah, what about it?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, you know, in St. Martin, we have this thing, something going wrong, close the schools, and everything good now. You know, just close the school and everybody feels safe. If you say a storm come in, yeah, but we close the schools. Oh, Lord, what a relief that is for me. I felt so safe when I heard them say they close the schools. And I tell my people, you have nothing to worry about.
Because the school's closed.
That's the only precaution we have to take. Close the school. And then if a storm come in July, we in trouble, you know.
Why?
Because the school's done closed already. What are they going to do?
Well, okay, Fernando, listen. They must have, you know, for example, the minister of Romy was able to not be sent home by a motion of no confidence that was tabled. I think it was, just one.
How many attempts they had to send him home?
Oh, yeah. About 3.
That we know of.
Yeah.
Okay, there were more. But
Yeah.
anyway, the minister managed to stay on.
You think he learned a lesson?
Oh, there was a lesson? I don't know if he even studied for the lesson. No. I'll tell you something though. He's one of the ministers I would come down the hardest on because of the infrastructure and how St. Martin looks.
Yeah.
You know, simple things, paint the roads, mark them. I saw the other day, some people were on quads, and one of these tourists who was on a quad who'd been to St. Martin before, decided he's going to do a little sightseeing. He ain't going with the rest of them. You know, he diverted himself. And he was driving up the Orange Grove Road. And I saw the thing, the quad gone up in the air and it come back down. And the guy actually stopped and go like, that speed bump was in there the last time I was here. That's a new one. But the thing is, it's not marked.
Yeah.
It's not painted. How was he supposed? The guy, he handled the quad good, you know. But had it been somebody else, that would have been an accident.
Would have been an accident.
The roads are in deplorable conditions.
Yeah.
Come on, you know. And he's a minister. I'll come down the hardest on because those kind of paint. When you're driving down Colby, I keep talking about this. You know, there's the road separates now where if you're going to, let's say, Union Road, you stay to your right. If you're going Welfare Road, you go to the left. But there's an arrow on the road pointing straight down to the roundabout. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of tourists go straight down, you know, instead of going around the roundabout because they're seeing an arrow. We who live here, we got to go around.
Yeah.
But you seen an arrow pointing straight down. And you know, I talked to several MPs about, and they're not even aware of that arrow.
They never even notice it.
They don't notice it.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
some like, no, there's no arrow. And I tell them, drive down the road and pay attention. You're going to see an arrow pointing straight down. Now, further down, they're supposed to have another arrow, telling you to make the right turn. But I want fade away. So, tourists come to the island, see an arrow pointing straight.
They're going straight.
They're going straight. And I have seen several of them do that. In cars, on quads, on motorbike, all kind of things. So, but he's the one I would come down the hardest on.
All right.
Not that I think he's the worst.
Yeah.
But I think he, those simple things he could have fixed.
Simple things.
But we wait until somebody get killed, then, you know, they'll wash off the blood and maybe paint it with the same blood.
Yeah. The silly season is here, which is the silly season, which is the election. That's what I call the election period.
Silly season.
Silly season.
Anything to do with Silveria Jail?
No. No.
I'm just checking, you know.
So, you know, you have new candidates.
You know there are some people who call us silly, right?
Yes, I know. That's why I laughed.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
I don't want nobody call me silly, though, you know.
No. That's a
No.
Yeah, yeah. Don't call me silly.
Don't call me
No,
silly.
you silly. I ain't silly.
Yeah.
You know, during this period of time, you have all kind of promises, all kind of persons coming out of the woodwork who could do it better, who could do it greater. You have new parties that are, you know, coming online. I think for 16 square miles, we'll have over 200 candidates that are vying for 15 or maybe 17 seats for the upcoming elections. So your advice to upcoming, expiring, and old-time candidates who are throwing their hat in the ring again for this next elections for the 16 square miles?
You know, that's a nice question because sometimes these people have to be advised.
Yes.
I always believe in don't do what you know you can't handle. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're a mechanic, you can't go bake bread. You know, and if you're a baker, don't go fix somebody's car. You understand?
Yeah.
So if you're going in there, make sure you're going to do something that you know you could do. Learn how the system is. I remember years ago, we had a politician who used to say, I'm going to increase the minimum wage. And when he got in, he realized, boy, the minimum wage don't even fall on our portfolio. You know, it's something else. So you got to know how the system is, learn that, and know that when you get in there, what you can and what you cannot do. Because a lot of people promise things, and then when they realize, well, you know, you can't even do that. So
yeah.
Learn the ropes. That's my advice to you. Learn the responsibilities of Parliament and of the ministers and how the whole governmental system is set up, how it works. You have a minister can't just decide to do something. There's a rat van advice, so a council of advice. You know that these things got to go to. Learn the whole setup, and then decide if you want to get in there or not.
Okay.
That's and if you're a pastor, stick to preaching.
Now, you have some interesting persons that, you know, have been saying that they will be running, they will be postulating themselves. But I always say that I always wait until postulation day itself, because, you know, you have people, you know, saying all kind of things. And over the weekend, you know, memes start to circulate. I don't know who does these memes. But in any case, you see that different makeup of different persons, some retired, some not retired, some business people, some not business people. Some expired, some non-expired. So, and they are postulating, or might be postulating, you never know. So do you think the voters, because the voters, we always say at every elections, are fed up with the fact that you know they had to go to the polls every single time during the snap elections that we had before. But now that we've had the longest serving government, you have some saying, Boy, nah, I ain't voting. No, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
No,
The confidence in
let me tell you
the
in all
public officials.
seriousness is this. People had a lot of faith in the National Alliance.
Yeah.
And they did not expect this kind of governing from the National Alliance. And I think the people are disappointed
Yeah.
with that. National Alliance has always proclaimed to be the party for the people.
Yeah.
And you got a chance now. You can't say, but like in the past, yeah, we were only there for
A
8
certain
months
amount,
or
yeah.
a short period. Now you had the whole 4 years. And the people are saying, we are disappointed.
Disappointed.
You know, even a lot of them.
Do you
also-
think it has to do with the leadership, though?
the party? But yeah, the leadership going to get the blame.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so there's somebody to blame.
Yeah, you got to blame somebody.
Yeah.
But it always comes down to leadership, and they will get the blame because.
But that's not fair, though, because they're in government with the up.
Yeah.
You know,
But the
it's two
Prime
parties.
Minister, the Prime Minister comes from the National Alliance.
Okay, so the lead should be done. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. All
you
right.
know.
All right.
But honestly, I've seen that where people are disappointed and saying, boy, I didn't expect this from National Alliance, you know, and they are disappointed. And sometimes people say, well, I won't vote for them again, but I don't know who to vote for instead,
Yeah.
you know?
Because let's say, for example, you put 15 new persons in there. Do you want 15 new people to run something that maybe
That's another good point because we see a lot of new faces came in.
Yeah.
And people are now saying, boy, you see
I-
what happened when you put the young people?
Yes.
So I am for young people. I feel at age 60, from let's say 54, people should be working down so that new blood could come in.
Yeah.
You got some politicians in their 40 years and all that kind of thing. Come on, that's too long. You know, give the young people a chance. But you can't change all at the same time.
At the same time.
You put in 2, this next week, another 2 or 3, or, you know, that kind of thing. But, yeah. And the best thing said in government over these whole 4 years, the best thing said on the floor of Parliament,
What was that?
we got to stop thieving.
That was.
I consider that to be an admittance. They're admitting that they're thieving.
Well, you know.
But then say they got to still stop you. There's a person
They
who
say
say
we.
they got to stop. They say we.
But it was a quote from a former prime minister of the Netherlands Antilles that she was quoting at the time, though.
Yeah.
So it was, you know. But if we stopped even for 1 year, you'll see what St. Martin will get to. I was like, when I heard that the first time.
You put a time limit on sin. 1 year, only 1 year.
Only 1 year. After that, we could go back to
You could go back to thief. You could make up for the year you didn't thief. You know?
But yeah, so and you know, with the different independent members we have in Parliament, yeah, I know. I you know I was gonna go there.
The whole Parliament independent now, you know.
They have more independent members than parties.
But you know what we have to look at is the expense that puts on the
Ooh.
on Parliament.
Yep. Yep.
You know,
and the Minister of Finance was asked this also. The Minister of Finance was asked this also, based on because when they travel, a faction representative has to go,
Yeah,
and because of that, there's 9.
Yeah. And then each of them can employ at least two people,
Yeah.
or at the most, or whatever. But could you imagine you have 9 factions in Parliament, okay? And out of the 9, 7 are independent. That's 14 people they're bringing in there, you know.
Correct.
Okay? And then, I don't know. But you know what it shows? Parliament just can't get along.
You can't get along. Because me and you don't agree, I go independent right away.
Independent.
And then afterwards, when we have elections, I go to a next party.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I don't agree with them, I go independent again.
But the thing is this, we had history where a party get 2 seats and the 2 members gone independent.
Listen, I'll go as far as saying you had a party that had 2 members, went independent, and then also a minister is going to be appointed from that same party.
Yeah. So the party now has a minister.
The party, in essence, because the last time the new incoming minister, he ran with the USP also. So you see, it's history.
Have
A minister and 2 MPs.
yeah, well now just one.
No, just one by default because they don't want him.
Yeah, they say we got rid of him, but the way how things are set up, he's yours to keep.
Before we go, Fernando, there's something that you passionately talk about on your program all the time, and that is, of course, the banks.
Oh Lord.
I know. The banks, the banking system in St. Martin.
We go 40 years backwards when it comes to banking.
And you came from the banking
I
sector,
worked in banking for 36 years.
Oh, okay. So you know banking.
I've worked with Barclays Bank back then. I worked in several Caribbean islands when I worked with that bank. Then I went to what was then ABN AMRO Bank, turned RBTT and so on. And I worked in various departments.
So you know the ropes a little bit.
I know which I know fairly well. I know the
Yes.
ropes. And what's going on now
Yeah.
is unbelievable.
Highway robbery is what I call it.
Yeah.
You know, the hidden fees.
Oh yeah.
The
But you know, banks now going away from interest on loans, and they're making their money now on fees.
Yeah, that's where it is. The
Yeah,
fees, right?
On the fees.
You ever think that we will have our own bank? Or we need to fix our banking situation first before we have our own bank?
I think, we got to fix the banking system on the island. For instance, right now, if you go to open a banking account,
you maybe a year?
September, October, so you might get through.
Yeah.
Okay? After you go dig up all your grandmother bones and, I mean, all these things that they're requiring. For what? And the other thing is this, in America or in the Netherlands, and those things don't apply.
No.
You know, there's a lot of things we have to improve on, and I think we have gone backwards when it comes to the bank. And everything I look at, I say, if you're doing this, why? Okay? And if you say, well, I'm going to turn this cup upside down, why? There's no good reason for doing it, then don't do it.
Yeah.
You remember when you couldn't go in the bank with dark shades or a hat or...
Yeah.
That's when I changed. You have to wear a mask to get in.
You have to wear a mask to get in, yeah.
Because we got to see who you are.
Yeah. Or you need 2 forms of identification.
But that's pure foolish. And government got to look at these kind of things.
A government issued identification card,
Ain't
but
good
I
enough
need
for you.
two sets.
I mean, if I come with my ID card and you tell me that ain't good enough, then I got to go back to government and say, you issued me something that the banks don't find is good enough. That's not good enough.
Yeah.
And, people tend to think that a passport is a better form of identification than your ID card.
No.
The passport is a travel document.
A travel document.
Okay.
Identification.
But I don't know why people tend to hook on this passport.
Yeah. I brought my passport, that's more legal than my ID card. And like, no.
And you're not obliged by law to have a passport.
No.
If you're not going to travel.
Why you need one for?
Why would you go for a passport? If you say, well, I'm going to travel in the next 5 years.
So why you need it for?
Why would I go and get a passport now? And then by the time I decide to travel, it expired.
The ID is more valid, but in the banking system, no. And let's not forget, Fernando, that sometimes even when you have an account, I started to shake my head already. Even if you have an account at the bank and you want to open a second account, the things that you need.
They treat you like they've never seen you before.
And you could be a customer for years.
The banks have a thing called KYC, know your client. They don't apply that no more, You could have an account with a bank for 40 years. You want to open a new account. They want to know where you live, where you work, where you this, where you that, and you got all that, even your address they want, and they send you statements, They mail in statement to you, and they're asking you for your address. And then they love this thing. They're going to send you someplace else to get an address from someplace, like go by GEB.
Yeah.
GEB either tell you bring a bank statement.
Yeah.
The bank tell you bring a thing from GB.
Or census, go by census to go get
By
a
census.
registration.
Census sent me by GB to tell census what's my address. I had that situation already. I was at the census office.
The government census office.
And I told the lady the address you have there is not correct.
Yeah, so you have to change it.
So, government is go by GB and get. I said no, I'm not doing that. Government can't send me by GB.
No, it's supposed to. The government is.
So, and then going back to the banks, they have all this rhetoric, how much money you could put in the account, and I mean, listen. I know you have to look out for money laundering.
Yeah.
But if you could see that the money is legit, if I win the lottery and the lottery transfer the money to my account or they give me a check or whatever have you, they're still harassing me. Where you get this? You could see where I get it from. And you could see the money is legit. And then people have this notion that you can't put money in the account. Because no, you can put money, but you have to prove where the money comes from and that the money is legit.
Yeah.
So you could put any amount of money in your account. You could put 10 million. If you could prove that the money is legit, the bank has to accept it.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, the red tape is what is the issue.
Yeah.
And the question is, when will we regulate it? Because even when we complain to the central bank of St. Martin and Curacao, nothing is being done. And then you have a bankers association here in St. Martin with all the bankers that we have. So the same problem have a problem group. So who do you complain to?
This problem that I've been talking about, I taken it now to Parliament. I took it to Parliament. I have to make a breakdown of it. So, but it is ridiculous. And I know of somebody who got a job, and the job told them, listen, you have to open a bank account because we don't pay with check or with cash.
Yeah.
We transfer your money. That person got a check, got 6 checks, because it took them 6 months to open that bank account. The employer had to call the bank and say, I'm sending this, but we gave a job letter, we gave whatever else. They had to actually call and say, please open the account for this person.
Wow.
Please.
And I'm sure there's many other cases out there.
And let me give you another joke. The person had a savings account, but now they want you to open a checking account to put your salary into. Mm-hmm. They treat that person as if we never heard about you. We don't know you, where you dropped from, how you get here, nothing. But they have an account in your book for 7 or 8 years.
And they had to act as if the person is opening a new account and it's a new client.
But let me get another joke though. A guy told me, I won't call his name, but he's a radio personality too. His 2 children were born in the United States. So him and his wife, who are Dutch citizens. Mm-hmm. Now he come to get a Dutch passport for the children. Mm-hmm. So he come with his passport, and they told him he have to prove that he's Dutch. He said, well, look, my Dutch passport. Yeah, but you have to prove how you get that. Well, my father's Dutch. Father had to prove that he's Dutch too. So I told him, if they tell me that, I would tell him, prove to me that I am not.
Yes, prove to me that I'm not Dutch. All right, Fernando, thank you so much for coming. Of course, always a pleasure. And
next time, put sugar in the
in the coffee, I will.
And get coffee from Colombia, not from Santo Domingo. Nothing against Santo Domingo, but
no.
I just like Colombian coffee.
Okay, no problem. And of course, the program online is on Tuesdays on SOS Radio, 9 o'clock. And Fernando is on also every day, Monday to Friday at 12 o'clock with, what's the name?
12 to 1 Talk.
12 to 1 Talk. Very original name, by the way.
Yeah, 12 to 1 Talk with Fernando Clark.
Yeah, on SOS Radio. All right, so make sure you tune in. All right, that does it for our late night tonight. And of course, until tomorrow, have a good one.